Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. We've got a really fun one today. We're talking about Will Smith movies. So this is going to be a lot of fun. There's definitely a lot of interesting movies out there. But we feel I've got a great panel here. I've got Ryan Payne. Ryan, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing, Malcolm? I'm pretty good, actually. I'm really looking forward to talking about Will Smith. I definitely can't wait to hear what you guys got to say on some of the movies we're going to rank. But it feels good to finally start. It feels good to finally, be featured on to rank them.
And also here we've got Jonathan Peck. Jonathan, how's it going?
Very good, Malcolm. Very good, though. I finally, at last, have finally joined one of the Rankum shows right here. I've been asking you many times. I could be on there, even though I'm open right here. And I was like looking, it's like, dude, are you gonna let me on or what? Like, really? I was like, okay, we're waiting for you. I was like, and until you finally got the call, it's like, okay, I finally made it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like there's so many some weeks there's so many people that want on. It's really hard to balance it out. But anyway, the way this works is each go around and throw out a movie that we think belongs on a top 12 list of Will Smith movies, and then at the end of the show we rank them in the order that we like. And I'm going to go to Jonathan first. Jonathan, what's the first movie you're going to bring up?
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the big one of his big ones out of the way real quick. Personally, one of my favorite ones is the one I watched while I was growing up, is the first Men in Black. That's what Men in Black for me is like. It's not only just really a great film though, but it's a great science fiction film because it brings us sort of like we were in the world out there. It's like we don't know what people like right here, and the reason why I love this film because we get to see like Will Smith's character right here, from his perspective right here, just present some weird stuff around him right here though. And you had the great back and forth with him, Tommy Lee Jones. I have arguably a great villain with Eckert the Bugman, right? Just freaking creepy overall. Just when he built his skin, his nails, just so much about this movie. I love about the makeup, the setting right here in New York. So my first selection for Rankum is the first Men in Black.
Yeah, Ryan, what do you say about Men in Black?
I would 100% agree. Men in Black is without it. I would have definitely put in this movie on my list as well. I grew up mid-90s with Will Smith and his album, like Big Willie style, like him as a rapper, of course, watching all episodes of Fresh Prince. So when I saw Men in Black, I just had to say, yeah, I 100% was behind this movie. And yeah, the chemistry with Tommy Lee Jones, and the cockroach was incredibly scary.
Really is.
Yeah. And Men in Black would have been an easy yes for me as well. When I was like doing my own personal list of Will Smith movies, it did end up pretty low on my own list, which I was surprised about. But it's still a yes. It's still one that I would put here. But so yeah.
And one more thing, let's not forget the song, the Men in Black song, the theme that came out of this. Here come the Men in Black, Galaxy Defender. Yeah, John knows what I'm talking
about. But yeah, Ryan, what's the first movie you're going to bring up?
Well, I really went back through a lot of Will Smith movies, and one from memory that still sticks with me, honestly, is I would have to say one of my favorite Will Smith, not just popcorn movies, but it's his personality alone, and it all sums up to one line: "Welcome to Earth," and that is Independence Day. I remember, just like with Men in Black, Independence Day was the one movie I would rewatch over and over again. Whenever Will Smith came on that screen, loved it. And of course, him punching out that alien is clearly the most iconic movie moment and Will Smith moment ever. It solidified him as a blockbuster star. And even now and then, when people still want to talk about Will Smith, we think about Independence Day. We also think about The line, his back and forth chemistry with Jeff Goldblum. I mean, those two were just fantastic. I love that scene when they're on the spaceship.
Yeah, this is one I knew was bound to come up. I do not like Independence Day. I think Will Smith's fine in it, but the movie as a whole I really don't like, so it's an easy no for me. Jonathan, what do you say about Independence Day?
First off, can I say this to Ryan? Well, that's what I call a close encounter. It's a yes for me. It's just really, it's obvious. Kind of like it's something with Men in Black, though. It's just really sort of coming out the gate movie for him now. And the back and forth with him with Goldblum is fantastic. And I love this sort of like, one of my low-key favorite parts of the movie is when he was all alone in the desert all by himself with the dead alien. It's like, yeah. It's Taliban's like, I could have got a good barbecue here. But no. Right here, though.
And Malcolm, I don't blame you for not liking this movie. Trust me, my younger brother didn't like this movie, so we would always argue back and forth what to watch: Independence Day, or we would watch any other comedy like VHS or action movie we had. But even then, I can understand. Like sometimes it's just too popcorn heavy. The plot is a little too thin, and of course, the biggest plot hole involved is, uploading a virus from a Mac computer into a supreme intelligence. So I completely understand that.
Yeah.
Try to keep voice down a little bit. Apologies, everybody.
It's all good. But yeah, this for my next pick, I'm going to go a little bit more on the recent side of things. But I'm bringing up The Pursuit of Happiness. This is his first one of his big breakout sort of let's go in a different direction drama side of bringing out a dramatic turn. And I mean, this is one I really like, and all the supporting roles was like I think this is the one his son was in it as his own son, but the movie's great, and it's one that I think should have got a bit of love at the Oscars, but I don't know what it was actually nominated for. But but this is just a fun movie. But yeah, Jonathan, what do you say about Pursuit of Happiness?
This movie will get a definite yes for me, and look it up itself. Will Smith was nominated for an Oscar for that part, so this movie gets a yes for me. This movie shows a lot throughout middle school and high school. They mainly just talk about a lot of financial situations right here, poverty in general right here. They usually show this movie a lot of times right here to talk about, and even some of my classmates when they saw the movie, even some they never seen the movie, they cried. They were just personally heartbroken of this movie, and this dude by his performance right here with his son, by the way, which, by the way, though, he is a very talented actor that a lot of people kind of despise because he's not his father, which, well, you're not. You're the son of Will Smith, though. Like,
well, he's got like most children of famous parents in Hollywood, or people who have had, or children who have had parents, uncles, aunts, or grandparents in Hollywood. There's always like a big, like a huge amount of pressure on their shoulders.
Yeah,
and
really not.
Yeah.
All right. This movie gets a yes for me. I really love this movie right here, though. It just really. I'm not gonna say sorry if his first performance is going to go different direction, though. We'll get there and get to the other parts right here. But this is the one that really elevates him. It really brings it hit home for me. This movie gets a yes.
Brian, what would you have said?
Yeah, this would have been a yes for me, because I'm gonna be honest. When I saw The Pursuit of Happiness, I wasn't tied into it at first. Not because I couldn't see Will Smith do drama, but it was the story itself. Like, it was mostly Smith, and at the time, it was based off of a person. So there's always that hesitation that Will Smith can deliver, and not just that, but also deliver with his son involved. And I mean, upon rewatching this movie, I can truly see that this was really a story about character, about really not just struggle. I mean, struggle itself, but when Will Smith starts off the movie, he has a loving wife, a loving son, and then this character, he gets this one item he believes is going to set his family to financial status, like financial security. Unfortunately, tears the whole family apart, where his wife leaves him. And throughout the entire movie, it's just him trying to scrape by every day with his son, even while trying to raise his son, and then him getting an internship at a Wall Street marketing firm, and then the rough scenes where he had to sleep in a bathroom with his son and hold that scene where he is just holding that door shut so nobody gets inside. When I rewatch that movie, that is a tough scene to watch, because I've met parents, I've met people who have told me on days when they were broke or when they were locked out of their homes because of landlords, that they've had to sleep if they didn't have a car, they would have to sleep outside of bus stations, maybe inside a bathroom. So just hearing about that perspective brought so much more gravitas to the movie. So yes, this movie would have gotten a yes for me.
Yeah. 100%.
But Jonathan, what's your next nomination?
I'm gonna pick this Will Smith movie that I recently watched actually to prepare for the show. Actually, I would say his most underrated films, and a movie upcoming years though it really got better and surprisingly well in 2020. I'm picking 1998's Enemy at the State. Enemy at the State for me. It's really if you've never seen this movie right here, go watch the movie and look at everything what they did in the movie. It's sort of accurate that we're having right now today though. It's sort of mind-blowing and scary at the same time though. It just not only just trace on your phone, talk about trackers, all that stuff, just people can hear your conversations, all that stuff. And the paranoia around it, just for him is trying to get his life back together again, just people around him. And it was a great back and forth with him, with Gene Hackman, though, with just sort of loose sides to sort of to the conversation right here. So the parts of the movie just really is great right here, though. And also the ending in the movie just really it's fantastic. The last shootout, though. So this is a movie right here. It's just classic Will Smith and classic Tony Scott and Jerry Bruckheimer. Just really perfect about this movie. And I'm going to nominate Enemy at the State.
But Enemy in the State is on the table. But Ryan, what do you say about it?
Right now, I feel like a broken record. This is also a yes. Enemy of the State, not just to reiterate everything Jonathan said, but you watch this movie again with today, with the constant advancement of technology. Yes, this movie is more relevant. It's kind of timeless in the way it is now, because not just the fact that it's the government abuse of technology, of surveillance cameras, but at the same time, you see Will Smith's character. He is just a normal guy, and then all of a sudden, something is thrown into his lap that he's not aware about. You can take a look at this movie and see how the government's treatment of not of just regular citizens, but also of African Americans as well. Because the fact is, that one scene when after one of the characters played by Jason Lee is killed, who drops the incriminating evidence into Will Smith's lap. No idea. That interrogation between him and the cops, it feels normal. But then you got the guys in the security camera. They are already judging Will Smith, even though Will Smith is 100% from our perspective completely innocent. But those men in that surveillance van, listening to the conversation, they're all going, "Oh, he's lying, he's BSing." They're already judging him without getting me enough proof. And then after what happens, they start to destroy his life bit by bit. And it's not just with the introduction of Gene Hackman, but also the performance from Regina King, the performance from Lisa Bonet. Those are good supporting characters that don't get enough shit. And also with John Boyd playing the bad guy. You just see him as a bureaucrat, but then the fact that he commits murder, you also see when the surveillance is turned on him and his family home, and the fact that they kill, spoiler alert, this movie's over 20 years old, Lisa Bonet's character. You see how far this character is willing to go in order to save his own ass. And ultimately, in the end, Will Smith does a great job. I still love that rooftop scene between him and Hackman, where Will Smith, out of desperation, after Hackman says, "You must have something they want," and he just yells, "I don't have anything." you clearly see he has no idea what he's got. And I just love it throughout every day. He's just struggling to keep his family safe, but also to clear himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would have been a yes for me. I love Enemy State. And this is just one that I watch. It's like as I said earlier with Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. Everyone just assumes that he's only a comedy. He can't really do action. He's proven so many times he can do action just as good as he's funny. So I mean, so there's that. But Brian, what's your next movie you're going to nominate?
Well, I had to get to this movie because otherwise we would not be doing this random list if it wasn't for the movie that just recently came out, and that is the first Bad Boys, released in '97, directed by Michael Bay, Will Smith, and Martin Lawrence. Even though this was another slash action comedy, but you can see throughout the beginning of the opening of the movie, we get the chemistry between Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Them in that car to where you see them about to get, jacked by two men. Turns out these two are cops. They turn them on. They turn the tables. But throughout the entire movie, the chemistry between Martin Lawrence and Will Smith is great. But even though there are some comedic elements, this movie is about 70% drama, though, because Will Smith's character, Mike Lowry, lost an informant, but it's an informant he personally knew. And then, of course, he investigates. The witness to a crime of the informant calls the station, but unfortunately, his partner has to take the identity. So we got switched identities happening here. But the difference is, it's not mistaken. Even though it's mistaken identity, it's just a mistaken identity under circumstances, because these two cops, they want to solve the crime, protect the witness, but at the same time, they have to kind of trade places. They got to live in each other's shoes in front of this witness while trying to maintain the mirage amongst Marcus's family and while Mike's home life and personal life, even though nothing falls apart, but it's just kind of more, you see them having to, it's just the juggling act, you see. There is really no personal fault. Nothing falls apart for these guys. The only thing that falls apart is when the charade is lifted. Other than that, this movie is a good, straightforward cop drama. And of course, I love the ending where they're on that runway driving, just that speed chase. And of course, that stare down between him and the villain where he's got that gun point blank at him. I mean, there's just so many great shots in this movie. It's visually shot well. The action scenes are timed right. This is Michael Bay before he starts to really delve into his crap. So I would say this would be not only my favorite Will Smith, but my favorite Martin Lawrence movie.
But yeah, this movie would have been an easy yes for me. And this movie is also Joshua McCougar approved. But
Makes me love him even more.
but yeah, this is just a fun movie, and just one that I really enjoy watching. I mean, it kind of dipped really in quality with 2, but and from what I've heard about Bad Boys for Life, which should have the 3 in there instead of 4, but that's beside.
I don't think they knew how well this was going to do, so I think that's the reason why they did that. I haven't seen this movie yet, but I plan to at least.
Ooh. I haven't seen it either, but yeah. But Jonathan, what would you have said about Bad Boys?
To be 100% honest, though, you could either be a case of all 3 of these movies, honestly. Which, by the way, I have seen Bad Boys for Life yesterday.
Yeah,
just want to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you guys what happened though, but I really recommend it. It is really Josh McCougar approved, by the way. I wish I could bring the picture back up. Okay. By the way, yeah, that Bad Boys for Life approved by Josh McCougar and also by me. Actually, you can be either the case for all 3 of these movies, to be 100% honest with you. So this movie gets a yes. And the one thing I'll say about Bad Boys, though, that maybe it's talked about, but not really talked about all that much than I expected, because that the movies before, we have seen like by cop comedies before that, even so at the Black Cop example, but we never see like by a cop movie. We have 2 guys right here, or both black cops right here at the same time, though. Like we never seen that type of dynamic. We've seen that before this. So by seeing this thing in 1995, it really shows right here. And those two, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, they both the perfect choice for this roles right here. And the setting itself in Miami, just all the stuff that happened. Just like everything what Ryan said right here, though, it just that about this movie is really perfect right here. So I get this. Yes, I
Yeah.
would say yes for this and also the series in general. So go see Bad Boys for Life, though. You will love it more, though.
Yeah,
That's my recommendation.
yeah, and to answer Stephen's question, Men in Black and Independence Day are the other two that are on there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Don't worry, we're just getting started. We're gonna find something we disagree with sooner or later.
but it's back to me, and I'm going to bring out a movie I watched specifically for this list that I had never watched before. I'm going to bring up Concussion from 2015. This is this is a fun movie. I don't know sort of how good it was until I actually watched it, and it's a crime that he was never nominated for the Oscars for this role. But yeah, I can't remember the name of the doctor was playing, but this role just shows sort of the sports concussion and how much they can affect on if someone can play. And I think the drama was great. I mean, do I think the movie is like good? It was decent. I don't think I'd put this really high on the list, but I think the movie as a whole works, and I think deserves to be here. But Jonathan, what do you say about Concussion?
Oh, before the character's name is Dr. Bennett Amalu. Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Bennett Amalu. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. No. That's okay. It's gonna be the first one out of me. I'm gonna just say no because I have never seen it. I was close to doing it, and the reason I missed it when it came out, and I tried to find free on DVR. There's no free thing and watching it, and also I heard this movie just a lot about it now about the film subject matter itself. It was sort of the subject around that time, like 2015. You know, the Oscars so white controversy though when he was not even on the best actor, so that was sort of impressed right here. So I'm gonna say no because I hadn't seen it yet. So
I mean, if you haven't seen it, you can't really say yes to it. But Ryan, what do you say about Concussion?
Now, I did see this movie. The moment it was available on streaming or at least on DVD for rent, I rented it, and I have a list of the actors. Since this was released in 2015, the 2016 awards, which it would have if he got a nomination. The actors that were nominated were DiCaprio for Revenant, Eddie Redmayne, Danish Girl, Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs, Bryan Cranston for Trumbo, and Matt Damon for Martian. So if Will Smith had got nominated, he would have had himself a tough a murderer's row to go up against. And even though Leo still won that year, but I'm gonna be honest, I grew up with sports, baseball, football, soccer, basketball, always playing them as a kid. And even then, a part of me with football, I fell out of it a bit because I didn't always like the way football was, the constant change of the rules, the following of the, when you have the football players you set on this pedestal, and then you have a falling star, you have fallen heroes. The fact that this movie, it delves into the fact that the disease, CTE, which is a result from, constant repetitive hits from the helmets, like repetitive hits to the head. The fact that concussions themselves leads to long-term damage, and the fact that the NFL, that there were some coaches out there that were aware of it, or even organizations or owners that they were aware of this, but swept it under the rug because the organization was too big. This was too big for this to be acknowledged. But now you're seeing down the road with so many football, like former athletes, that either committed to psych wards, they've either committed suicide, or they've done domestic disputes against families to where the fact that some of them can be linked to CTE, and it's really upsetting. And the fact that this movie, it doesn't try to paint the NFL as these big bad guys. They do go throughout the movie to try to find other links to CTE other than just football. But it's mainly, like everyone has their own responses in this movie, because with Will Smith, he's seen as this noble hero, but his life, personal and professional life, comes apart because he's going after the NFL. And despite what people say about Will Smith's accent, he does a good job committing to it. Look, he may have not been the most convincing for the Nigerian accent, but he is at least doing his best to get the mannerisms, the inflection down. Sure, I mean, if it doesn't convince you, then that's your thing. But I stayed laser focused on what Will Smith was doing. And even then, he does a great job with the performance. Yes, the movie itself is a little shaky at first, but always does its best to not to do this whole what's that? Like mud journalism, trying to paint one side as a bad guy, as you see with most documentaries like Blackfish or Fahrenheit 9/11 try to do. They try to at least show you that there is some push and pull on both sides. I'm talking so long because I can't make up my decision. But as a Will Smith movie, you know what? I am going to give this a yes, because this was a movie that shows Will Smith, when he wants to focus himself, laser himself in, he can pull out a good performance. If he can't convince, let's say, 49% of you, he still got the other 51%. I still think as long as he tries, it's better than just, having him just phone it in.
Yeah. All right, Jonathan, we're back to you for your next nomination.
I'm gonna try between this or this one. I'm actually gonna pick an outside of box one, more sort of a supporting role. Actually, I'm gonna pick a supporting role, which I never heard this movie long years ago until a couple years earlier by a person named Mark Andreyko introduced this movie on Movie Fights a couple years back called 6 Degrees of Separation. This movie itself, I find this movie a bit interesting, though. The reason I said that, because this is the point that was one of Will Smith's earlier films around here. This is also played like a not only supporting character, but plays like a bit of a sort of a con artist around here. That we're going to the establishment right here, just to play just Dr. Channing and all that stuff. So I found this movie to be very interesting in itself, though, early stage of his career. So I'm actually this movie just doesn't bring up a lot. You can talk about Will Smith movies, so I'm gonna nominate 6 Degrees of Separation.
6 Degrees of Separation is on the table. Ryan, what would you have said? What do you say?
Oh, this was the one movie I tried to look for. At least on the streaming services I have. I'm aware of this movie, 6 Degrees of Separation. Will Smith, yeah, his character, he's not only a con artist, but I believe his character is also a homosexual in that movie. And from what scenes I can find on YouTube, he is doing a good job, but I'm not going to take that into account of the whole movie. I mean, I may have to abstain because I can't give an opinion on this movie because I haven't seen it in order to vote this in. But I have been aware this was around the time when he was part of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I think this movie did get him the attention of certain studio heads that may or may not have influenced casting him in bigger leading featured roles like Bad Boys, like Independence Day. So, man, I wish I had seen this movie. I would have given a definitive answer, but I can't. I have to abstain from this.
Okay. Yeah, this is definitely this is his earliest role, that movie role he's got. And I think I've seen it. I can't remember. I like Ryan. I tried to find so I could watch it for either the first time or to rewatch, just to refresh myself. But I'm just going to have to say no, just because I don't remember seeing it.
Okay. If we have like a split decision here, is this going to be left to
No, it's 2 out of 3 people that sort of said no. Because I mean, when you abstain, it's an automatic no. So it's not going to make it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so it's the way I've always sort of done it, because it kind of makes it feel when it comes to sort of the ranking part. So.
Okay. Yeah, I won't argue. It's this list and it's your format. I won't argue about that. Yeah.
But yeah, Ryan, what's the next movie you're going to bring up?
Well, this one might be a little contest here, depending on your preference. But I'm going with the one movie. This movie Will Smith did, based off of an athlete that I had written biographies, that I've written reports on in middle school, and that is the movie Ali. This movie got Will Smith his first recognition at the Academy. I believe he was nominated for an Oscar. And of course, it's a Michael Mann movie surrounding the life of Muhammad Ali, from his early startup, winning the championship against Sonny Liston, to following all the way to Rumble in the Jungle. Now, on rewatch, this movie is not that great. The only reason why sometimes I rewatch it is because of Will Smith's performance. Really delving into Ali, not just the boxing, but also you see him as the character, holding him up during press interviews. When you have John Boyd also in this movie playing Howard Cosell, when they have their nice back and forth. He's like, Howard, I talked to your wife and she said you ain't the man you were 2 years ago. And yeah, just the speech and pan man he does. Wait, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. Just seeing Will Smith just portray Ali in this light as first a rising star, then in the midst of the movie where he's taking a stand, not being drafted to go to Vietnam, to having destroyed his professional career, to him coming back. And also, you have the supporting cast, not just John Boyd. You have Jamie Foxx. You also got, I'm forgetting his name, but he was in Westworld. He plays Felix Leiter in Jeffrey Wright. Yes, Jeffrey Wright. And also Mario Van Peebles playing Malcolm X. I mean, he even has wife Jada Pinkett play one of Muhammad Ali's first wives at the time. I mean, this movie, like I said, it's not as great, but it shows Ali. He's not this perfect figure. He's flawed. He's a flawed character. He's a flawed human being. And I think Will Smith does a great job, in my eyes, at least trying to portray Ali. So I will nominate Ali.
I actually haven't got around to seeing Ali yet. It's one that it was probably high up on my list of ones that I've tried to find for this. It's just not on any streaming services for me yet. So yeah. So it's all on you, Jonathan.
I will give Ali a yes. Anything it's out though, the movie itself is very good, but not great. But his performance right here, though, makes the film elevated, because the scenes right here with talk about Hal Cosell right here are really fantastic. It's sort of back and forth around here with the other boxers right here, and also you forgot to mention one more thing. It also brings this. The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here. It plays it so much. The Outlaw uses it in his intros back then. So
this was a top 10 entrance theme. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything about this movie really works though. So his performance. So I will get Ali a yes.
So Ali does make the list. And it brings it back to me to do a nomination, and I'm going to go for I Am Legend. This is I really enjoy this movie, and it's one of those post-apocalyptic movies that does work on a lot of levels, and it's just really fun, and just sort of see all the hard stuff he's had to when he's on his own for the most part, but it sort of leads to his dog being bit. The emotion from that when he realizes I've got to put my dog down, just that whole emotion. It's a good mix of horror and drama and all that in one. But Jonathan, what do you say about I Am Legend?
I'm gonna say no, because I hadn't seen the film completely. I see bits of clips of it, including the two endings though, which, by the way, I was kind of preferred like the original ending they have right here. I heard the stuff about the original attachment of the movie, heard more contained in the original book, so that was maybe the thing right here. And I'm gonna give it a no, because I need to finish the film completely to get my point.
Warren, what do you say about I Am Legend?
Before Jonathan, I do hear you on the whole change of the ending, and from what I've heard in research and even in post interviews, they had that intact in the original cut, but when they did a focus group, to test audiences, they didn't like it, so they changed the ending because it's one of those situations where studios will bend the knee to test audiences, and it is a shame they didn't do that. This movie would have been a higher elevated movie, and I have seen this. I saw it in theaters in like 2 months after it was, no, like 2 weeks after it was released. At the time where accompanied, they had the Dark Knight trailer, and I'm going to give a yes to this movie because throughout 80%, it is just Will Smith there and him and this dog. The moments where he's encountering these creatures, the fear in his eyes when it comes to not just surviving, but also the tactics he does in order to try to cure these beings. Because you get flashbacks to him as a colonel with his family, and also the significance of the dog, the fact it was his daughter's. And it's not much of a spoiler, but yeah, the dog he got for his daughter, and it's the one thing that was left behind with him when his family unfortunately met their tragic end. And then of course, yeah, that last ending, it did demote the movie a bit. Like it felt like a nice button on top of it. And yeah, with the alternative cut, it does do a great. It not only matches the book, but it also does a great subjective, not subjective. Jesus Christ, I'm not thinking of the term here, but it's when it flips the script on certain movie tropes. You see, like you're introduced to the monster of the movie, and then the hero has to beat the monster. But it does that great turn to where it reveals to these creatures, he is the monster. He is the one they fear, not the other way around. He believes these creatures have no higher intellect. He believes that they are just mindless, that they just rely on instinct, on nature. And the moment you see in the alternative cut, when that main head creature, that night stalker, the dark stalkers, whatever these called, turns and looks at the female creature on his table, he realizes how far he has fallen, that he is so caught up in his grief. And yes, this is a character who is in grief because he lost his family. He has been, in a way, he himself has been running on instinct, capturing these creatures, trying to find a cure, not realizing that he is torturing, he is killing these people. So when he does let them go in that alternative take, he comes to a new understanding, a new realization that he can't stay here anymore. He has not only failed, but he's no longer human himself, to where he chooses to leave with the mother and son to that human hideout, that human civilization at the end. But I Am Legend does get a yes for me.
But with that, we go back to Jonathan for your next nomination.
Yeah, we did more of the dramas and the heavy science fiction. Let's go back to the comedy side of things right here. More in the rom-com section. Picking my next movie is Hitch. Yes, Hitch. For me, this is a role that we rarely see Will Smith though playing on the romantic side right here though. This is basically a guy which helping basically a couple of schlubs right here trying to do well to interact with women and trying to get some girlfriends right here. When mainly who was trying to help was Kevin James right here, try to be cool, all that stuff, and do not do anything right here. Plus himself though, just like finding good romantic relationship with Eva Mendes right here. The things in the movie just really are actually very funny though, including the scene with the breakdancing right here, stop around here, and also containing Convis right here. It has a little bit similar, not say similar veins like Boomerang, that scenario, but even though there's a little more lighter version of that, but this one it really shows it like more of a, well, how I can put this like this, been a little sort of a charm side to it right here, but at the same time just feel like on the smart. So I'm gonna pick his Hitch.
Warren, Hitch is on the table. What do you say?
Oh man, I'm sorry, John. I'm gonna have to give this movie a no. As much as I enjoy Will Smith, this movie, it's, even though he is the sole character, you ultimately realize he's playing backseat to Kevin James's character. And Kevin James, he's funny at times. I just could not buy the dynamic between the two of them. As much as that dance sequences between them, it kind of feels to me that when you see Will Smith's character watching dance and he's kind of he feels a little disappointed and dead inside. Well, I don't know. I mean, to me, if it was just focused on Will Smith just trying to get Kevin James into a relationship, okay, it's fine. I don't mind the subplot with him and Eva Mendes, but when it comes to the structure, or at least the narrative structure of a rom-com, you knew sooner or later a bottom was going to fall out, and it's the fact that he is this date doctor hooking up with this love doctor. I don't know. Some parts of it was kind of predictable for me, and on rewatch though, damn, I mean, there's some good comedy beats in this. I want to like this movie, but there's just something there that's kind of holding me back. Oh, there's just something there. I just can't put my finger on it. And the way it all buttons up there. I mean, if this ended with nobody getting together, I would have thought that would have been another like great flip on the script. But the fact that it has an happy ending, okay, it's fine with that. But I'm giving a no here.
Yeah, this is one that I'm kind of all over the place on, but I'm gonna give this a slight yes. I do.
Okay.
I mean, I do like this movie. This is just on my own personal Will Smith list. This is really low, but it's low enough that I'm still willing to say yes for top 12. So, but
okay.
So Hitch does make it on, but why don't we go back to you?
Okay. I don't know if we're ever gonna start throwing sequels on here yet, but I want to make a fight for this movie. And this is another sci-fi movie Will Smith did, and I kind of think when I saw this in theaters, I just saw it as a simple action sci-fi movie. But upon rewatch, I think this movie does have has a story to tell about human reliance on technology, and that sometimes what is preferred, the cold-hearted side of technology or the warm side of human connection, and that's iRobot. Now, Will Smith, he plays a cop in this movie. It's set into a far future to where we as humans have invented AI. We've invented robots to be like sort of self-serving humanoid servants, to always be at our beck and call, almost give us a kind of dystopian, utopian kind of feel to where we no longer have to worry about working hard enough because these robots here, they're going to take care of us. They're going to do what we say. But Will Smith's character, he is someone who distrusts robots. He distrusts robots to a point to where he can mistake a robot running with a purse down the street as a robot stealing a purse, as a criminal. And the fact that everyone sees him as crazy, the fact that everyone thinks that he is paranoid, but also when you look at this world, you see that robots not only are almost servants to humans, but at the same time, robots have supplant humans in a lot of jobs. Because there's that one scene where he talks to Bruce Greenwood's character about you have a human assembling an old-fashioned chair. It's hand carved, it's perfect. It has that nice human touch. But then you get a robot making a better chair within the short amount of time. That comparison there kind of shows a lot to where you can see Will Smith's side of the argument, but it's his prejudice against robots to where you kind of see, man, you had a good point there. If you had just not thrown that hatred, and then you find out the reason why he hates robots, it makes him tragic. And then even another reveal throughout the movie to where I don't know how you feel on spoilers on this channel, though. I mean, this movie is over 20 years old as well.
I mean, yeah, I don't mind. Like, at least it's not a movie that came out last week. I don't.
Okay. Well, all right, I'll just jump into it. What's revealed that he has a cybernetic left arm because of a car crash accident of a driver that led to him and a father and a little girl crash together, drowning in the sea. A robot chooses to save him because on a percentile, he had an 11% chance of he was the logical choice because he had like a 23% chance of surviving next to a little girl who had 11%. And it's because the fact that this robot used logic instead of save the child is where Will Smith hates them, to the introduction of the character of Sonny, played by Alan Tudyk. And also the underlying themes of robots are in a way of second class citizens, and the ideas of are relying on technology, becoming dependent on robots, to not really understanding that this new class, this new species that we're creating, sooner or later might evolve to the point to where they want rights of their own. There's a lot of class. There's some ideas that can be over the place here, but if you kind of look at everything on its basic act structure, this is what I think there is a solid movie line in there. So iRobot is my nomination.
iRobot is a really fun movie, and it's an easy yes for me. It's just got like Will Smith in action really does go hand in hand, and iRobot is no exception. This is just a fun movie, and it's just to see the his relationship he has with Alan Tudyk, his son. It just works. Jonathan, what would you have said about iRobot?
I would give it a yes too, though. This is one of the movies I watched right here for the show, actually. Same things right here, and also great mocap voiceover performance by Alan Tudyk as Sonny, though. Like, yes, it kind of predates him playing K2SO in Rogue One, though, but his mocap performance right here in it is really fantastic. So I would give this a yes.
So we've only got
spots left.
2 spots left. Yeah.
I think you can think of it now.
But it's back to me. We've got a lot of different performances by Will Smith. I'm going to go for one that we haven't talked about yet, and that's animation. I'm going to bring up Shark Tale. Shark Tale is just a really fun animated movie, and when you've got Robert De Niro playing a shark gangster, just in his forte, you've got Angelina Jolie, but this is just an entertaining movie, and it's one of my favourite sort of DreamWorks movies ever. But this is just this is fun, and Will Smith as a small fish that just relishes in the fact that he killed a shark and that just living into this life. It's just entertaining. But Jonathan, what do you say about Shark Tale?
Okay. No. This one gets a no for me. I watched it when I came out as a kid, but we're watching it when I got older. It doesn't age very well, though, and I just don't personally don't like his character in general, though. It might come out as a bit of, really, it's at times a bit of annoying points, and cross between him and this was playing the fish for me, just really, even look at his eyeliner and his lips, it just come out as a kind of a Will Smith as a fish in general, and maybe I don't think gels very well though for me, so this movie gets a no.
Ryan, what do you say about Shark Tale?
Damn it. When it comes to animated movies, I've always wanted to see Will Smith as an animated character. This movie kind of got past my wayside to where I was a little too old to watch something like that, but at the same time I wasn't young enough not to enjoy it. Damn, I don't know. I'm really trying. I mean, Jack Black was fantastic. Yes, Robert De Niro, jeez. You see him as a shark, like doing like hits of it. I mean, I don't know. This felt to me like this was one anime movie where it was really building so much on the star-studded cast they had. Wow. I mean, other than Will Smith and Jack Black's performance, which I love, but it's not enough to get me through this movie, Malcolm. I'm sorry, that's going to be a no.
It's all good. I mean, it's always the case when it gets down to these final two. It's all cutthroat from here. But Jonathan, what's your next nomination?
My next choice is okay. My next choice for me is a one I saw back in middle school when one of my teachers just shows to me no right here, which I saw half of it, and then usually I saw the complete film version of it. And my choice would be Hancock. Hancock for me is a very interesting, great premise in itself, though. Like you basically,
Nice.
right?
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay. Oh, okay. Um, the premise of the film itself is very interesting because he basically plays a superhero which doesn't want to play a superhero. I mean, spend half his time just gone drunk and be on days around here. Though, even when he does heroic deeds, he would just kind of is like, it's an area like here. Plus, when he gets some of the motivation by Jason Bateman right here to actually use it actually for good though, and trying to clean up his act together. It starts off very good though. Yeah, I'll agree. The first half is a kind of way better than the second half of it. Something happens in the middle of the movie, but for me, the premise itself and the idea of Will Smith in it, though, it gets sort of the edge for me. So I'm gonna nominate Hancock.
Hancock is on the table, Ryan. What do you say?
Ooh. Okay, hold on. I just want to double check some of the Will Smith movies I have on my list. And it's not that I don't. Oh God. No. Let's ignore that. Let's ignore that. Getting that out of my head. All right. Now Hancock. Man, this movie is actually. I do remember this movie coming out. This was one of those rare cases where people saw where Will Smith still had it. I mean, yeah, some people can argue that Will Smith playing a drunk throughout most of the time could be him phoning it in, but the fact is with Will Smith that he plays his drunken character as if this is someone who is completely not just given up, but at the same time he's relinquished himself to this life to where, yeah, I have powers. I mean, what do you want? What do you want from me exactly? Like he has he's utterly lost in this world. So yeah, with Jason Bateman's character trying to give him purpose, I do like that between them. And also, I mean, come on. The fact is, I love that constant gag they threw out that movie. What'd you just call me? I'm sorry. Call me an asshole one more time. You know, just that line itself. And despite coming across cable when they try to edit that out, it doesn't work without that line itself. But I do appreciate what they did with this movie. They were really trying their best to create this mythology with superheroes. And the fact is, yeah, what if you do have one that exists, but instead of focusing on his acts, you look at the destruction in his wake. Man of Steel. Sorry, I had old complaint stuck in my throat. But the thing is that Will Smith, if it wasn't for the added levitas that Jason Bateman and Charlize Theron brought to this movie, I would not have bought Hancock's character. But also that scene in the hospital between those two, where you learn why Will Smith has amnesia, why he is such a cold-hearted bastard. I mean, it feels like he was always tragically suited to be this person. And I do like that acceptance in the end. And from what I've heard about this movie in the old drafts of it, they wanted to make Will Smith even more tragic to where his character Hancock wanted it wasn't the fact that he made peace staying away from them, but he could not give up on Charlize's character to where he inadvertently caused the death of her character to where he fated himself to be alone. I mean, other than that little tidbit aside, I do enjoy some of the things from Hancock, so I will give that a yes.
So Hancock does make it. I'm not a big fan. I like bits and pieces of this movie, but to me it just sort of falls apart around the middle. I think it just doesn't work as a cohesive sort of story. But
Okay.
Brian, we're back to you for what could potentially be the last nomination.
Oh, we're getting to the point to where he's done a lot. He's done some good sequels. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to nominate Men in Black 2. Now, this doesn't have the same heights as the first Men in Black, but throughout the first half of this movie, this is Will Smith's character of Jay trying to take on the mantle that Kay left behind. And even though he's doing a good job with it, you can see he has a hang up. The fact is, when you're introduced in the first 10 minutes, he has a hard time establishing keeping a partner, to where every time he gets a partner, he neuralizes them the next day. But also, this introduction of Rosario Dawson's character and that moment they have with each other in the diner, to where she says that as a kid, we're supposed to believe in the fantastical. We're supposed to believe that there's something out there that's bigger than us, that's meant to give us wonder. And now in this world, we're meant to believe that it doesn't exist, even though the fact that there are actual aliens living among us trying to live normal lives. And the fact that Will Smith's character chooses not to neuralize her because his character wants to be remembered, because he doesn't like this idea of just being a mysterious stranger, like just being this outsider. He wants someone to remember who he is. And ultimately, it kind of serves and hurts him towards the end, to where it reveals Rosario Dawson's character is meant to be this savior who he can't be with. In a way, it sort of mirrors Kay, Tommy Lee Jones' character, to where he brings back. Now, the moment they bring in Selena, it does fall into a simple bad guy. Oh, I'm a simple hunt for a treasure. Falls apart. We bring back in the old partner to find this treasure. It dips into a lot of tropes. But that first 20, 25 minutes of the movie felt like there was going to be a solid premise laid down there. To the moment Kay is brought back in, it was just going to be the whole banter between the two of them. So beyond that first 25 minutes and then the last 10 of Will Smith's character structure, I'm going to nominate Men in Black 2.
Well, I mean, we haven't reached the lengths of having to nominate Wild Wild West yet, but but yeah, I'm going to say no to Men in Black just because I've got a few that's higher up on my list that I think deserve to come up over it. But Jonathan, what do you say about Men in Black 2?
So you said one of the sequels, the sci-fi sequel. You picked the wrong one, though. No, I'm sorry, man, but you picked legit the wrong one, though. So this movie gets a no for me.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I figured I'd give it a shot.
But it's back to me. I'm going to try this one before, if just as because I don't think the other one I was thinking about will make it on, even though I do actually like it, despite how everyone else thinks about this movie. But I'm going to bring up 7 Pounds. This is another one of his dramas that is just a super fun. Super fun is probably not the word for this one, but it's one of those dramas which is like hits you in all the right spots, but and it's just one of those ones which it's a great movie. And once again, his interactions with all the characters and all that, it's just one that that I think is good. This is one that I did basically rewatch for this, thinking I'd never seen it before. But I think it's a great movie. But John, what do you say about 7 Pounds?
I'll keep it a little short. I never seen this movie, so I couldn't comment on it.
Okay.
Ryan, what do you say about 7 Pounds?
I have seen this movie. I remember the first opportunity I got to see it, I saw it. The ultimate story of Will Smith. I like the narrative structure it was giving us. Will Smith, he's visiting these people who are like these just random strangers throughout the movie. Like he's just testing to see if they're good people, and no, not just good people, but he wants to know, like throughout this entire thing, he believes that if these people have gone through, like they've either suffered or they're just trying to make their way. Like he's trying to test their character to see if they're deserving of a gift. And I like the fact that he and Rosario Dawson, their chemistry falls on and off for me at times, but I do get for the ultimate story with this character. Michael Ealy showing up. The fact that it turns out that Will Smith's character is not who he says he is. He's stealing an identity just so he can test these people. And then you learn his backstory, why he's doing this. And throughout the entire thing, they introduced that Chekhov's gun of a jellyfish. Not knowing what this jellyfish purpose was, but it was kind of lingering there. And then the whole idea where people are looking at him as if he's like not just Michael Eady's character, but Barry Pepper's character. Like these two are both looking at them like, what the hell are you doing with this? Why are you going around talking to these people? Why are you doing this in like you're talking to a blind man. You're nearly trying to bully a blind man. You meet a doctor who's terminally ill. Turns out he's been torturing his patients. You meet a woman who has a terrible heart condition. And then the twist, it turns out that he's meeting these people because he wants to know if they're worthy of his organs. He is the fact that his character is the ultimate organ donor. I mean, that itself feels like really interesting. Like, if you really, like how, you sign up to be an organ donor and like your parts are going to go to these people. What if you can actually choose who to give your parts to? And I definitely enjoyed that instance. You know what? I mean, this movie, when I rewatched this about like this past Monday, while Will Smith does feel very like somber at the time, like this was at the time where his non-vocal wasn't as sharp as I thought it could be when he's doing comedies or action movies. But in a drama, it still works in my mind. So I will say a yes to 7 pounds.
And with that, 7 pounds makes the list, and that closes out the list. Just to recap what made the list, we've got Men in Black, Independence Day, Pursuit of Happiness, Enemy of the State, Bad Boys, Concussion, Ali, I Legend, Hitch, I Robot, Hancock, and 7 pounds. It's such a diverse list. I'm going to rattle off some honorable mentions that I did have on my list. I did have Aladdin. That was the one I was considering bringing up instead of 7 pounds because I really do actually like Aladdin for what it is. I had Made for America, which is his second movie that he did sort of after 6 Degrees.
Yeah, Made in America, yeah.
Yeah. And this one's been said in the chat a lot of times, Legends of Bagger Vance.
This was kind of like a...
I heard it doesn't age very well.
Yeah, it doesn't as much. I mean, Will Smith, his character... When it's just Will Smith, like, conversing with Matt Damon, it works, or with that kid. But the fact is, you take Will Smith out of this movie, he doesn't... The movie still keeps going. I guess with the movies we have on our list, we want to see that if we had taken his character out, how would it have affected the story? And to be honest, the character of Matt Damon's of a golfer coming back from war who lost his swing, who lost his like his hope, his spirit. You take Will Smith out of that, it's still the fact that there's this golfer trying to get his spirit back, and the fact is he only conversed with Matt Damon most of the time. It can almost be there. You can make a theory that it's Matt Damon's imagination, but the fact that other people are conversing with him disproves that theory. But if you did remove his character and supplant another actor or just a regular white person, it wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, and one of my other honorable mentions is in the same category as Aladdin. Say what you want about the movie, I still enjoy it, and that's Suicide Squad. I'm not ashamed to admit I enjoy him in that. But John, did you have any honorable mentions?
Some of my honorables. I thought Brian's gonna put a different Men in Black sequel. I thought he put Men in Black 3 in there. That was the one I thought he might say originally. Another one I mentioned. Yeah, and another one that I actually watched at one point on cable a few years back. I actually genuinely enjoy it. Focus, him and Margot Robbie.
I've not seen that.
And one, did you have any honorable mentions?
Jonathan, yeah, Men in Black 3 was on my honorable mention. The reason why I nominated Men in Black 2 because when I rewatched them, looking at Jay, because in the first one we get Jay's character, him being introduced to this world. The second one is him being given almost a leadership role, and then the third one he feels kind of like displaced, like out of touch, to where you like all three of these movies. Will Smith has a character; it's his character's story in a way, to where it kind of ties itself back up. I thought the second one to me felt more like reminiscent, like you're a young person out in the world, and then you get this opportunity to really test your mettle. But the fact is, you're given a thankless job. But with Men in Black 3, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, look, there's some fun in that movie. Yes, you take him and Josh Brolin are fantastic. Also, in my honorable mention, I also have Bad Boys 2 on there because the movie is Michael Bay at his Michael Bayest, but the fact is, there is some quotable crap in this movie, despite what people want to argue about it. And even if it's on a 2.5 to 5 Josh McCougas, I still kind of enjoy it if I just want to put a straight popcorn action flick. And Suicide Squad was also on my honorable mention because Will Smith, he's dead straight as his character of Deadshot. Him, Margot Robbie, fantastic. Jai Courtney in supporting role. I mean, that's great. Viola Davis. Also, God, I can't say his name. I'm gonna mispronounce his name, but Ottawa, and the guy, the actor who plays Killer Croc.
Okay.
When he's used in small bits, and they kind of work at times.
Yeah.
They don't put too much on him.
The best way I usually try to do it to avoid saying his name is Mr. Echo from Lost. It's much easier to say.
Yeah,
but
I couldn't have put Aladdin on here because I have not seen that movie, mainly because like
you don't want to.
It's not that I don't want to, it's just I don't know. It just really the marketing wasn't selling me, and that hurt the most because just like with most Disney remakes, you gotta sell me, and the fact that it's just nostalgia alone didn't sell me. I've heard Will Smith is fantastic in this movie.
Yeah,
I will give it a shot. And then I think one more I had on here. No, never mind. To be honest, when I saw this in theaters, I just liked it because of Will Smith's performance, and this was on the very low, like right next to Suicide Squad, and that was Collateral Beauty.
I never seen it.
Like Will Smith's performance alone, I don't mind it, but the premise of the Will Smith's performance and the premise of the story is good, but then the ultimate execution of this premise, the narrative it decides to take ruins the movie to where. No, here's the thing with Collateral Beauty. Will Smith plays a father, and he's this owner of a company. In the movie, he's like this man full of life, believing that you have this unique skill, beauty in yourself. You're like, find what makes you special. And then he loses his daughter to, I believe, an illness. And throughout the movie, he's always writing letters to time. He's writing into the concepts of time, love, and death. And throughout the marketing, it shows that, guess what? Time, love, and death are not only real specters, but they choose to respond to him. That's the marketing of the trailer. The movie, his friends, played by Edward Norton, Kate Winslet, and Michael Pena, hire 3 actors to portray love, time, and death. And they decide to make as if he's lost his damn mind so he can give up control of a company.
Jesus.
I'm sorry, what? I would have loved it if it was just a straight... The premise you gave us from the trailers had me invested. And then you give me this crap. Jesus. Oh. And it's a star-studded cast. Not just I mentioned Edward Norton, Kate Winslet, Michael Pena, Will Smith. You had Naomi Harris in the movie. You had Helen Mirren who plays Death. You have Keira Knightley who plays Love. So many good actor collaborations you could have done this movie, and you ruin it by creating this idea that these friends are just trying to get their closest buddy to give up control of a company. Oh, if it was just the fact that it was Will Smith talking to time, love, and death, trying to get his life back in order, trying to get himself out of rut, except get out of the grieving process, this movie would have been fantastic. But nope. It is it's part of a gauntlet of garbage of movies I might not want to rewatch.
Yeah, that's kind of a bit of a dick move in general.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where the trailers and the marketing fools you to seeing a movie. And it's one of the reasons why when it comes to Disney live action remakes, I refuse to look at trailers because I know they're trying to bank on nostalgia. It's one of the reasons why I've not pulled myself in to watch Aladdin.
But anyway, it's time to get to the fun part, and that's actually ranking. But basically, what we do is we write down what we want at number 12 on our whiteboard or a bit of paper or something. But so yeah, and just to recap what we've got on this list, we've got Men in Black, Independence Day, Pursuit of Happiness, Enemy of the State, Bad Boys, Concussion, Ali, I Am Legend, Hitch, I, Robot, Hancock, and 7 Pounds. But yeah, I've already got mine written down. Jonathan, what do you have for 12?
Even few of the films I ain't seen, but I'm gonna pick 7 Pounds for the number 12.
Ryan, what do you have for 12?
Oh, Jesus, come on. Don't do this to me now. Okay, here we go. Actually, for 12, I'm going to nominate Hancock.
Which brings us to an interesting predicament because I've got Independence Day.
Ooh, this is a predicament.
So chat, Hancock, 7 Pounds, or Independence Day for number 12. And while I set up a wheel just in case we don't get anyone to say anything.
All right, come on. Who's in the chat? Matt's in the chat. Roger's in the chat. Come on, Matt.
Anybody out there?
No one.
Matt. Come on, Matt. Come on, Matt.
But I've got the wheel primed. Let's see which shares. Good. So, and it's spinning.
Number 12.
And Hancock is going to be number 12.
All right.
All right.
All right, Hancock.
Wait a minute. So, or try to in the chat, but it's kind of too late.
Don't worry. Stay on there, man. Stay on there. Oh.
Right.
But yeah, as Matt said, he tried too hard to be dramatic, but Ryan, what do you have for 11?
Okay, going through my list. For 11, I decided I may have to switch out my marker in a minute. Oh, wait, no, I decided to keep the H train going and nominate Hitch.
Jonathan, what do you have for 11?
All right, let me see. I could try this again this time around. 7 Pounds.
I mean, if you don't know me by now, I'm still going to die on this hill.
We're going to meet you halfway, Malcolm. We're going to meet you.
So, chat.
Matt to say. Right.
Okay, Malcolm, he's going to dive into the chat right now to see if he can, hopefully get some support. Hey, look, I have nothing against Hitch as a movie. I guess when it comes down to the spectrum of bliss we have here, I guess if I had to choose which one of them, I mean, I do like Hancock and I do like Hitch, but on rewatchability.
But
okay.
But Matt, I did actually read the chat before; it just showed up too late last time. But this time I did see it in time, so 7 Pounds is going to be number 11.
All right.
Okay. They picked 7 Pounds. Okay.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a new marker. Blue has died on me.
Yeah, as Matt said, pounds are the number between 6 and 8. But now we move on to number 10. And I'm still dying on this hill. But Jonathan, what do you have for 10?
I'm gonna pick. I Am Legend.
Ryan?
Well, guess what, guys? The train hasn't derailed yet. It's Hitch.
So chat, I Am Legend, Independence Day, or Hitch? I'll give you a few minutes while something's come up. Stardrew, if I'm certain on by just like something, I'm not going to change it. And Stardrew said Hitch, so Hitch is going to be 10.
All right.
So what's 10 again?
You'll see it in a minute.
Okay. I'm going to need another blue dry eraser. I mean, I'm not going to hold no judgment against you, man. I mean, if you didn't like Independence Day, I mean, like I said,
Yeah,
there's a lot to take apart on that movie. And I mean, look, yeah, other than that plot hole of uploading the virus without them noticing, yeah, it does feel like something that maybe you should have addressed that. I don't know if the sequel ever does address something that's stupid. Not going to see the sequel, honestly.
from what I've heard,
I
mean, from what I've heard, the sequel's even worse.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But
okay.
But Jonathan, what do you have for 9?
Gonna try this again. I Am Legend.
Ryan?
All right, sorry. For once, John, we are in agreement. I Am Legend.
I Am Legend's going to be 9. We didn't have to go to the chat this time, which it looks like it might have gone my favour because it looks like Stephen was hoping for Independence Day.
Okay.
Are you sure just for the last time? Just saying. Wandered it off.
Oh.
All right.
Now we move on to number 8.
All right.
Just to recap what we've got left,
we got Ali,
Concussion.
iRobot. We have Ali, Men in Black, Independence Day, Pursuit of Happiness, Enemy of the State, Bad Boys, Concussion, Ali, and iRobot.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going with Independence Day still. Jonathan?
Okay.
I'm gonna pick Concussion.
Ryan?
I went with Ali.
Ironically, fits in with Concussion, but
I mean, a part of me wants to just agree with you, but I like Independence Day so much. I mean, amongst Will Smith movies, so I can't. I'm going to be fighting with you all until we get to maybe 6 or 5.
I mean, honestly, I'm really used to it. But chat, we've got Independence Day, Concussion, or Ali. What should be 8?
It's gonna be funny once you reveal this list afterward. Everyone's gonna go, "Why is this so low? Why did you put this up?"
I mean, it's why I don't reveal what numbers that they were, because in that way they can watch it to find out sort of what numbers we rank them.
Yeah, but when you put it on the polls, it's kind of like, how come you didn't mention this movie? Like, hey, we could have put sequels on here, but let's be honest. We're trying to look at Will Smith's standards alone, not just sequels.
Anyway,
that's Concussion.
Does it? Oh, I'm not into the chat.
I've just seen it.
Okay. Yeah. Concussion's the earliest one I see.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah. I forgot to mention another Will Smith movie, which I never seen, but I heard some people actually they did like it. Spies in Disguise.
Oh, not seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it as well. I mean,
Yeah. If you, for those of you watching us right now, we haven't seen Spies in Disguise yet. So if you tell us generally like it, tell us how I feel.
Yeah. And
I
if
mean,
anyone ever says Winter's Tale, no, don't. He has a bit part in there, and that movie is kind of trash.
I mean, trust me, if it got down to it, I probably was almost going to say Ant-Man 2 just for his cameo alone.
Although I do like his cameo in that. I do like his cameo.
But John, what do you have for 7?
Hold on. Sorry. Just give me a second. I picked iRobot.
Ryan, what do you have for 7?
I'm punching up again, and it's Ali.
I'm still.
You're still on it.
So Independence Day, Ali, or iRobot?
It's not until we get to the best. In my mind, is the best of the best. Trust me, Malcolm. The moment you put this up, you're going to have some support. Some people are going to say, "Yeah, we don't like Independence Day either."
But to answer Matt's question,
Jersey Girl?
I haven't seen Jersey Girl.
That's another bit part he has too. I mean, it's mainly a Ben Affleck movie, honestly, Matt. I agree with you. What about it?
But in saying that, Ali is going to be 7.
All right. Okay.
We move on to 6, halfway there.
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you have for 6?
iRobot.
I'm still going to go for Independence Day. Jonathan.
I put Enda iRobot.
That's a good play on words.
This is actually probably the first time I've been trying to get something down low this long without someone agreeing with me.
Okay, can we get a few more minutes on this? Because now we're in the top 5.
Yeah.
All right. Let's recap the moves we got so far.
So far from 12, we have Hancock. 11 is 7 pounds. 10 is Hitch. 9, I Am Legend. 8, Concussion. 7, Ali. And 6 is iRobot. Meaning we have Men in Black, Independence Day, The Pursuit of Happiness, Enemy of the State, and Bad Boys, what you gonna do?
Also known as the first 5 movies we nominated for this list.
Pretty much.
You have a great run. I'll just say that.
Okay. Man, this is going to be a tough one. Okay.
Okay, I'll try this. I'll try this. Make sure it works.
All right.
But yeah, I'm going to get out of the way because it's not going to be a surprise to anyone. Jonathan,
Bad Boys.
Ryan,
Malcolm, you did not go quietly into the night. You did not. You will not. You did put up a fight. You went on. You survived. I am going to nominate Independence Day.
All right.
The sheer persistence, man. Sorry, Drew. We're putting Independence Day on here. Okay. Oh, crap. I got Get Out.
All right.
All right. Who's he addressing? Is he addressing me? Is Matt addressing me?
I haven't actually seen what he's saying, but
Oh no, sorry. I'm just looking at some of the comments. That's all.
oh yeah,
Like some people are maybe hating me for agreeing with you now.
oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying.
Hey, okay, this is everyone in the comments. And look, I would have kept going, but we're getting into the top 5 here. And this is movies where the other 4, Will Smith has a leading role. Because when you look at Independence Day, he's still a supporting character. He may be he may have top billed, but he ultimately has a supporting role. I apologize to everybody out there. I will rewatch this movie. I will rewatch Independence Day over and over again. But amongst this top 5 we have here, I'm not going to be making friends. That's for sure.
we've got 4 movies left. Will we end up with a tie? Jonathan, what do you have for 4?
Bad Boys.
Ryan.
Yep. Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes, I've got Men in Black.
Well,
so chat, Men in Black, Bad Boys, or Pursuit of Happiness?
I've already developed a nemesis out of Matt. That's okay, Matt. We can disagree on this. This is a friendly chat.
Very friendly. Very friendly.
But yeah. Well, Stardrude said it's happiness.
Honestly, you guys picked 2 movies I would put in my top 3. Actually, to be honest, I'm surprised I didn't even think of Pursuit of Happiness when we were going past 9.
Yeah.
I could have switched Pursuit of Happiness with iRobot.
But Pursuit of Happiness is going to be 4.
All right. Did I win some people back, or am I still public enemy number 1?
I don't know. I think now that Independence Day's gone, I think they're going to try and save Men in Black now.
Okay.
But yeah. Ryan, what do you have for 3?
Oh, sorry, I was just erasing mine, but don't worry, this won't take too long. Oh, God damn it. I have one side of the board just of the list and everything else is just my answers, but here we go. Am I back? Am I at number 1 again? Here we go, guys. Bad Boys.
I've still got Men in Black. Jonathan?
Bad Boys, Bad Boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when I come for you?
It's next to fastest no way. All right. So
And now, instead of doing your number 2, you're going to write down what you want for number 1.
So it's between Men in Black and Enemy of the State. Oh, I'm the enemy of the world now, Drew says. Ooh, shit. Okay. Let's see. It's kind of funny how I grew up with Will Smith and my taste in Will Smith has changed. I liked the uber cool Will Smith from Men in Black and Bad Boys, but then I'm digging the mature Will Smith I get from Enemy of the State, Pursuit of Happiness, and Ali. To now, I'm kind of just met on him when I see him in roles like Hancock or After Earth or 7 Pounds. Actually, no, I say 7 Pounds. Trust me, that love hasn't died.
But yeah, Jonathan, what do you have for your number 1?
Oh, I'm still deciding. Damn it.
Hold on, give me. Actually, I got about all night. Right
God, it's a toss. It's in a toss because I'm going back and forth with these movies now. Oh,
I got my answer. I just can't wait for you to finish. So no persuasion.
I'm gonna be honest. This is all subjective. The next day, I can come up with a different list of these 12 movies.
Yeah, you can be organized once.
Damn! Oh my God! Now I'm starting to think of the realistic applications, like the real world, like similarities between both these movies. Now, fuck! I just had an answer, but now another comparison just popped up in my head.
But I don't normally do this on the ranking list, but I'm going to give you 5.
Okay,
Four,
all right.
3.
All right. Goodness. Come on. Finish it up.
Yeah, sorry, my marker, just like my blue one, wants to screw with me. Here we go.
It's all good.
right.
Ryan, what did you come up with?
I went back and forth on these so many times. And to be honest, just like with Star Wars, I'm going back and forth. But you know what? As of right now, I'm going to say it. My choice is number 1. Let me see it just bounce with me. Just bounce with me. Just bounce with me. Come on. Let me see it just slide with me. Slide with me. Come on.
Yeah,
Let me
Men
see
in
it.
Black is going to be number 1. I actually had Enemy of the State, which doesn't have a catchy theme song, but
No, to be honest, man, Enemy of the State was my first choice because of the comparisons. But then with Men in Black, with the whole idea of aliens living in New York, almost in a way of being second-class citizens, having to hide themselves in public. I mean, it wasn't just the coolness of Will Smith, but there's a lot of mixture and tones into this. God, like I was going back and forth on both of these. Because I swear, if I was just in a normal conversation with somebody, I would have immediately just said, like, Men in Black would always be number 1, but I never had to really think that hard on it.
but but anyway, to recap our top 12 Will Smith movies. At number 12, we've got Hancock. At number 11, we've got 7 Pounds. At 10, we got Hitch. At 9, we got I Am Legend. At 8, we got Concussion. At 7, we've got Ali. At 6, we've got I, Robot. At 5, we've got Independence Day. At 4, we've got The Pursuit of Happiness. At 3, we've got Bad Boys. At 2, we got Enemy of the State.
And pause. The back pause.
And our number 1 Will Smith movie is Men in Black. Are You Happy, Matt? And I misspelt happy.
Hold on. This ain't a neuralizer, but you know what, Matt? We're just going to erase this. All right.
But yeah, just to but yeah, this was a fun episode. I've got a poll on the Take Me page now of the 5 options for next week. Just vote and to decide what the topic is going to be. But Jonathan, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram at JPEG1098, my Instagram and my Twitter. And also, I have good news for everybody. I have a letterbox right now, so if you find my letterbox on my Facebook on my Facebook, so you can find me on Facebook too. So that's where people can find me.
And Ryan, where can people find you online?
People can mainly just find me. If you just want to contact me, just go on to Facebook under my name, Ryan Payne, and then you can just message me. We can talk on movies. And because of this, I've been inspired to reactivate my Letterboxd account. So I'm going to reactivate that. And yeah, this was just fantastic. This was awesome. And hopefully next time I would love to get into another Rankum so then I can actually promote my Letterboxd account. But for right now, you want to talk movies with me, just go to my Facebook and message me, or just DM me on my Instagram, Rai again.
But yeah, and you can find me on Take 3 hosting Rankum every Saturday. You can also find me when it comes back hosting Late Night Take 3. I'm looking at possibly bringing it back at the start of first week of February, and that's going to be on Tuesdays. I've also got another new show which I've yet to sort of announce. I'm not going to say much more about that just yet. But you can also find me hosting Full Metal Random. This week is Trivia Fun, so there's various matches up. Just went up today as a UFC match, and so yeah.
Support Trivia for Thon, everybody. Donate. Watch the matches.
But until But until next time, just keep listing shit.
In the words of Will Smith in ID4, peace!